You're sure looking thinner there, Bobby baby.
Yeah, I dropped a few sizes.
Your screen looks bigger too.
Not bigger, just a lot sharper.
It's not unusual to have newer versions of consoles come out in the middle of their lifespan. You have the Game Boy Pocket, 3DS XL, and PlayStation Slims. And usually, these systems are just minor upgrades dealing with size or memory for maybe people who don't already have the original, or people who have the money and are really into those small upgrades. They don't feel like a necessity, and the originals are still a solid option because you're not missing out on much. Then, Nintendo did something quite nasty at the halfway point of the 3DS by releasing the new Nintendo 3DS. Now, it would have been fine if they just stuck to better 3D and an extra control stick, but instead it was actually faster than the original and had exclusives. And since then, I could no longer bear to look at my inferior and now seemingly disgusting 3DS. Well, that would have been the case if all these exclusives didn't suck except for Xenoblade. Just like how Xbox gave PlayStation and Nintendo some nasty ideas, Nintendo gave the other two a pretty nasty one themselves, which is releasing pro consoles such as the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. I don't like pro versions of consoles. Minor improvements to keep the console feeling fresh in its 7 to 8 year lifespan is fine, but when things like frame rates and visuals are affected, you're faced with the realization that you're getting a much worse gaming experience on the console you already own, and so it becomes really tempting to buy the new one, even though that shouldn't be the point of these midlife consoles. When I spend hundreds of dollars on a console after much begging and crying and pooping my pants, I expect to use that thing for 7 to 8 years without the fear of it feeling outdated. So when there are rumors of a Switch Pro being faster, running better, outputting 4K, and just overall being better in every single way, I was hoping they weren't true. I held my breath during the E3 Direct, and thankfully, they stopped at the Life is Strange sequel. A few weeks later, however, it happened. It came up, first thing in my recommended, the Switch OLED trailer. But while watching the video, I was very happy to see that it was just a slight evolution of the original. A nicer screen, better dock, better audio, and better kickstand for only $50 more. But whereas I was celebrating, a lot of people on the internet were like, no, I hate this and I will never buy it and I will buy a Steam Deck instead. To which I say, good, don't buy it, because the Switch OLED is not for you. It has a pretty narrow audience consisting of people who play handheld a lot and already have experience looking at an OLED screen. And it keeps the original as a solid option for people who don't already have a Switch. I think Nintendo made a really good decision with the Switch OLED, and I really don't think the Switch and Steam Deck are comparable. Maybe they could have added Bluetooth, but other than that, I don't really care. And I think the majority are happy too. So good job Nintendo, and good night.